Hauser.
Is Bryson in?
Bryson is in. Yes. Bryson is in. I'll give you a quick injury update that I have here. So Butcher's going to be day to day with pain. So it's pain management with his injury. Once he can get through that phase of dealing with pain, it'll help his mobility to the point he can play. Quinn is going to be out. The injury he has, there's a window between week 4 and 6 that you can really get a gauge to where he's at. It looks like it's going to be at least 4. As Hinostroza, we flipped to IR. Very similar injury with respect to Quinn, and same scenario. You just don't know for 4 weeks how their body will respond from a healing standpoint.
Is Quinn upper or lower?
Both lower. Yeah, both lower. Both similar to the same injuries for those two.
You had the sense that was coming, but now that you have some clarity to it, just how much of a bummer in the whole specter of the season is losing him for that amount of time?
Yeah, it is. I mean, especially after you see him play the way he's played. And I mentioned I went to Rochester last Friday and watched him. He scored a goal very similar to the one he scored here, and he's been a scoring machine. He's I guess the only, I don't worry about him in this stunting his development. I said when he left training camp, the kid's he's like a homing torpedo. I think was what I mentioned with him, and you see why I said that. He just keeps getting better. Every situation makes him better. He finds a way to continue to learn. I've always said as coaches, not me, just coaches have always said that the fastest learners are the ones that are going to become the best players. And obviously you have to have a degree of talent, which he has, but he wants to learn, and he learns fast. And it's a bummer for us not to have him, but he's going to come out of this better. I just know he is.
What are the differences to get ready for a 1 o'clock game as opposed to a 7 o'clock?
Boy, Paul, that's a good question. I mean, I think there's some guys that like it because you can get right to it. You don't have the anxiety through the day. I know I like it as a coach. It's nice to just get right to work. And then there's some players that miss their routine, that have the routine of the morning skate. I think you're off what would be a regular routine because you play more evening games, so you've got to adjust to that. But from the coaching side, there's not a lot. There's not. I mean, we run through our meetings faster. They're much quicker, much more concise. It's more about making sure we get physically active, to get going, and less obviously, thinking and processing that way.
Alex Stuck is first over the boards on the power play, the penalty kill, top line. What makes him that all situations player?
Well, it's a little bit of both. We know he can be an all situations player, and we know he's going to progress in that role. And I want to accelerate that process. So, he's not quite familiar with all our systems and the way we do things here, but so there's going to be potential mistakes within that. But I'm okay with that because it's the best way to speed the process is to get him out there and get him in those situations. And just spoke with him for just a minute, 2 quick minutes on some little subtleties that he might be able to tweak that'll help him, and we'll just keep doing that. So I do want to get him, as I've felt, our most talented guys in situations faster, whether that be young guys exposed to top players in the league or more, or dolls in defensive situations, because they have the talent to just acclimate faster. So it's that process we want to speed. And then Alex, the reciprocate is Alex is attentive and he works and he cares, and otherwise I would never do that. I would never do that with a guy if he doesn't check those boxes, and Alex does.
We talked to Ristolainen this morning, and he mentioned how you guys have texted a little even since his departure. Just how much did you respect the way he, even as the organization overextended him at times, that he just kept trying to give you what he could for all of you?
Yeah, I think one thing, Risto was here during some tough years. You're picked as high as he was picked. There's obviously your expectations are thrust on you that you don't necessarily ask for. I think he dealt with all of that professionally, but I think behind the scenes, he had a deep care for Buffalo. I know even after the trade, he said, "I still have my house here. I'm not selling it." he loved being here. You could tell that. I could tell that in his voice and how he talks. Even upon departure, I think he said to you guys, what he said in the media at the end of last year, I remember well, because I said to Kevin, trade me or don't trade me. And a lot of people interpreted that like I want to be traded. And it was more of, I don't really want to be traded, but I know the business side of it. I know I'm on an expiring contract. I don't necessarily want to leave. But Kevin, I know you, I respect you have to do what you have to do. And it was that thought, because I talked to him about it, and it was that thought. It wasn't, I want to leave Buffalo. He felt an obligation here to everything that was given to him here, from the fans to the ownership to the teammates, and I have a lot of respect for that. So he's a good man, and he works hard, and I obviously wish him well, like many other guys that were here at once.
You know his strengths. You also know his weaknesses. Is that
We are going to prepare to play our game, Paul. Yeah, we didn't talk about Risto at all in there. We talked about the end of last game and what we can do better. And it's for us. We're going to stay engaged in that process. I think if you shift the focus to something different, it takes away from, to whatever degree it takes away from what we need to do to keep getting better. And I just don't think we're there yet to start targeting with any players maybe strengths or weaknesses. Team strengths, Edmonton Oilers and things like that, yes, we would talk about stuff like that. But we talk about the same, like they are a top team in the league or they are a speed team in the league. So this is what you have to watch out for, not this guy specifically. It's this guy's in a category of 10 other guys in the league. What do we do when we play, what's our strategy or objectives here? So we need to stick to that still. So we didn't talk much on that at all.
When a goalie like Hauser has a game like he has Tuesday, is it important to get him another game within a few days of it?
Yeah, it's nice to get him a game. We felt Dell had a pretty good workload the other day, worked hard, and obviously Hauser performed very well in Ottawa. So I think the combination of those two fit, and it worked out that he gets a game fairly quick. There's a lot of those are the other things that go into it, Bill. But yes, that is you do not want to keep a guy out for a long time, and we do feel we need to use two the way the schedule, the way the NHL schedule is and can be. And these are the two guys that are here now, and they're working hard, and they're earning it because of their work ethic. And yes, it's nice to get him back in there. Okay, thanks, guys.